When the speaker speaks, you listen, you lean in, you're interested. When the leader tells you the vision, it pauses you and you want to know more. What do these have in common? Authority. Authority in communication, authority in speaking. Today we dive in to the C-Suite Advantage, a mini series I'm doing on how to increase excellence in your speaking and what comes from that.
Welcome to Advance with Mike Acker, the podcast designed to help entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professionals alike break through barriers by improving their practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Your host is a best-selling author, executive coach, and founder of the Advance Public Speaking School and Advantage Publishing Group, two companies dedicated to providing an edge for leaders. Find out more about Mike at mikeacker.com. Now here's your host, Mike Acker.
Over the next couple weeks, you're really going to want to tune in to the series. So I encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, to connect with me on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and elsewhere. We're going to be diving into the C-Suite Advantage. So many of the clients I work with are C-Suite executives, CEOs, COOs, CFOs, and others. And what I do with them is really help them increase their leadership and their communication so that they can drive the mission of their organization further and faster and farther. That's what I want to do with you in this series, on this podcast and on this YouTube. The C-Suite Advantage is ultimately this book that I'm working on, and you get advanced connection and advanced knowledge of what I'll be doing in that book, and would love to get your question and feedback so that I can even bring that into the book. Really, I'm going to be walking through different areas that really your excellent in speaking will provide to your company, to your organization, to your team, to your startup, to whatever it might be. I'll be giving you some information, some knowledge, some stories, and then some very actionable tips. Write some of the tips down and put them into practice. I run courses and I teach some incredible, valuable skills in those. But really right here, I'm going to be honing in on some different areas and that expand on more with my coaching such. So this is going to be very beneficial to you. You're going to really be able to walk away with this and learn something. Here's the first one, that excellence in speaking provides authority. Excellence in speaking provides authority. Now that's really a C-Suite advantage, isn't it? That there's authority, there's a power, there's a role, there's a position that the C-Suite team members have that not everybody else has. Unfortunately, some people just rely on positional power. And really, that's not true authority. That's just placement. But the best of the best realize that their position is based on an authority that they've really already garnered with the team through their past experience, through their ability, through their skill, through their ability to bring out the best in others and other areas of leadership. How does excellence in speaking reinforce, re-encourage, or not re-encourage, encourage, or bring about authority? Now, I just have a pause right here. In these videos, I always do a one take with no edits. And I encourage you to get used to making some flubs and laughing them off and then continuing in where you're going. How does excellence in speaking bring about greater authority? And how can we do that? Let's dive into that. Authority is the ability for people to listen. It's the ability for you to speak, for you to lead, to you to write, to communicate, and people pause and they listen. They want more of that, whether that's nonprofit world where people are volunteering or whether that's for-profit world. Now, I've been in both. I've been in corporate America, large multi-million, multi-billion dollar companies, and then I've also been in just this nonprofit sector. And so in both of these different areas, there's ways to come across with authority. Ultimately, all of it comes through your communication, whether that's oral or whether it's written. You need to communicate and people need to be able to listen and follow. I, for many years, was in the nonprofit world. And in that world, when I spoke, I'm speaking to volunteers. And so it's very important for them to to know that I knew what I was talking about, and for me to come across with a sense of authority so that they would act on and follow what I was communicating. Now, in the corporate world, position matters. And so I had a position that I could direct some different people and they had to follow. But I didn't want them to follow because they had to. I wanted them to follow because they wanted to. And authority matters in that regards. Authority then is when you speak, people listen. This reminds me of a classic ad in the 1970s. E.F. Hutton was a financial advisory firm. And there's this great campaign that went around in the 1970s where over and over again, the tagline was, when E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen. So the one I was listening to and watching and just getting ready for this show, there's two gentlemen who are talking, and one is talking about what his financial advisor says. And then the other gentleman says, well, my financial advisor is E.F. Hutton. And he says, and right there he pauses as the waiters and the entire restaurant pauses the noise and leans in to listen. The camera fades out and it closes with that tagline, when E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen. That's authority. People want to listen. How do you get that? And are there other case studies? Are there other current stories about when someone speaks, people listen? Nowadays, people are listening to all kinds of different voices. So who is that type of authority figure that we can be inspired by or listen to? One recent one is Michael Jordan. In the 2020s, what happened? The pandemic. As a result of that, the NBA paused for a while and was wondering what to do. In the end, 22 different teams went to Florida and resumed a different type of season and in a different type of normal setting. Why did they do that? Part of the reason why they did that, part of the reason they didn't just cancel the entire season, was because of the voice of Michael Jordan. He spoke up. He had an idea. He had a thought. He had a vote. And when he spoke, people listened. You might be thinking, well, of course, it's Michael Jordan. I mean, if Michael Jordan spoke to me, I would listen. But how do you get to that point? And is there a way for you to get to that point without having to be the GOAT, the Michael Jordan of whatever you're doing? And the answer is yes. You can develop greater authority in your communication. Let me walk you through 3 different tips that are going to walk you through this path to greater authority. The first one is you have to believe in what you're saying. If you don't believe in what you're saying, then it's going to be very hard for you to come across authoritatively. I believe in this, and so you can hear my conviction. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. I do a motivational talk, and I talk about how you got to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, there's a good chance nobody else will. And once you've had someone believe in you, then you got to lend your belief to others, because there's a chance no one else is. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your words. You need to believe in your authority. Now, it can't be a false belief. It can't be an ungrounded belief. I can't go up in front of people and think, man, I am the best, most knowledgeable basketball player ever, because it's not true. I haven't played since maybe like 10th grade in high school or something. And so if I'm speaking on that belief in myself is not going to be warranted. Or if you watch some of those shows like America's Got Talent and American Idol, there's been some people who have had people say, you're an amazing singer. And they get on the show and they sing, and Simon Cowell says, you're not an amazing singer. You're an awful singer. So you can't believe in yourself with ungrounded reason to do so. You can't believe in your message with ungrounded reason to do so. If I'm running for president and I say, follow me and I will show the entire world that the earth is flat, then I'm not going to have a lot of authority behind that, because there's no grounds for that belief. There has to be grounds for the reason you believe in the message you're communicating. For me, I've walked through coaching with many different clients, many different people, and I've seen the power of when they believe in what they are saying, when they're convicted that what they're saying matters. So if I'm working with a nonprofit and we do education this way because it encourages the holistic learning process of the student, then they have this firm belief in what they're doing. It's going to help them advance their mission. So when you're communicating, the C-suite advantage is conviction in what you're saying. Excellence in speaking brings about authority when you believe that what you're saying matters. If you don't believe that what you're saying matters, it's going to be very hard for others to follow up, for others to dive in, for others to get behind you. So if I'm presenting a report and saying, yeah, I think we should do this, if it doesn't come across like I believe in it, or if my tone of voice does not reinforce the conviction that my heart may feel, it's going to be very hard for my team members to say, yeah, that's right, let's do that. So belief matters. You need to believe in what you're saying with reason. Okay, how do you get authority? How do you bring that out in excellence in speaking? You have to believe. The second one, you need to be singular in thought. Sometimes, okay, back up. Many, many, many times, communicators, speakers, leaders in team meetings, whatever the case might be, they have so many thoughts going through their mind. It's just everywhere. And they could pursue this path, and they could pursue this path, and they could go over here. And really, just like my arms are going everywhere in the video version of this, so are their thoughts going everywhere in their communication. As a result, with their mind going everywhere, it doesn't come across as authoritative because we're giving people too many paths. Instead of saying, I think that this option, or I think that this option is what we should pursue. Think about how authoritative that comes across in contrast to when you say, I think maybe one of these 10 options that I'm going to bring up could help. Instead, this is the option that we are looking at, or this is the option that we are pursuing. That singularity of thought, instead of going everywhere, choose the one spot. There's a great acronym for focus. Follow one course until success. Not follow 15 different paths until success. Follow one course until success. Likewise, in your speaking, follow that one singular thought until success. Right here, instead of bringing about all of the different areas of excellence in speaking, we're focusing on authority, to believe in what you say, and now to have that singular thought in what you're saying. So people get out of this video, I can increase my authority if I pursue this simple path to greater authority. The last one, breath work. Breath work? Breath work is so important. Recently, I did a podcast / YouTube with M.A. Bruno, who's been working with me at Advance, and we talked about the importance of breath work. Breath is life. And if you don't breathe right, it comes across very shallow. It's very easy for my voice to take on an overly gravelly tone, so I need to breathe to do so. Think about when a singer is singing, they're using the full breath of their diaphragm. They're using their muscles. They're putting out there. Kelly Clarkson, she doesn't just have this kind of breathy voice and she's singing like this. You're welcome. She has this deep, powerful voice, which I won't try to emulate, but you can listen to. When you listen to that deep voice, you go, there's power there. That's refreshing. You often say something like, man, they have pipes. So much so that some singers, when they sing with that power behind them, it evokes emotion in you. Now, how does that correspond to us speaking? Take a deep breath in, letting it out. Breath brings about greater power for your body. It brings about greater clarity of your own mind. It creates a pause that others can lean into before you say what you're about to say. Yes, if you want greater authority, you need better breath work. Even in the morning, just taking some time to get some good breaths in. Bringing that into who you are throughout the day. My Apple Watch reminds me to breathe at different times because breath is vital. And for authority, it changes your physical posturing even when you breathe. And it changes the tone of your voice. So if you want greater authority, one simple skill work you can do is to breathe better. One simple mind trick you can do is to focus on a singular thought. And one huge identity factor that you can lean into is to believe in what you're saying and the value of what you're saying. That's how you increase authority in your speaking. And when you have excellence in speaking, that brings about an incredible advantage as a C-suite leader or professional to every different level. You don't have to climb the ranks to have the advantage that many C-suiters have. You can have it even at the beginning of your career. How? Excellence in speaking. Subscribe for next week because we're going to continue into this conversation on excellence in speaking, where we dive into clarity. See you then.
Thanks for listening to Advance with Mike Acker, a podcast designed to provide an edge for leaders through improving practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Mike is a best-selling author and business owner who has helped many leaders increase their skills and their confidence, propelling them to new heights in their personal and professional endeavors. Join an incredible group of professionals taking the steps to become better leaders at connect.stepstoadvance.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.